There's an old saying that 80% of life is just showing up, but that's not the case at the state capitol.
The News Channel 13 Waste Watchers team took a look at poor attendance in Senate committees. As Asa Staples tells us in our in-depth report, some lawmakers don't show up to a single meeting all year long. Good evening, Asa.
Good evening, Benita and Jim. Well, we learned in grade school the whole point of a committee is to weed out the bad bills and only send the good ones through to the next level. A committee is meant to be a smaller group of lawmakers, but we found out it's probably smaller than you think. This is what you usually see when we talk about new bills going through the Senate. But this little conference room is how bills make it there. For this committee meeting, it was Chair George Amador, staffers, and 6 absent lawmakers. Here's how a bill makes it to the Senate floor.
Hearing no comments or questions, I move the bill. Bill passes.
No debate, no questions, no comments in the 3-minute meeting. Members of the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Committee send in their votes on a sheet of paper beforehand.
That concludes our active agenda today.
Senator Kevin Parker of Brooklyn is the ranking member on this committee. The ranker is the leader of the minority party, and Parker, the leader, didn't show up to any of the committee's 4 meetings last year. So you don't feel bad about not going to these because you voted via sheet?
Yeah, I mean, most people vote via sheet. I mean, if you look at the attendance is probably very low.
Parker says there's no point in being there in person because the majority will just push through their own bills. He says he's never even met with Senator Amador to talk about committee work.
You know, you give everyone ample notice. Everyone has the calendar.
Amador has a problem with that.
Well, I'm sorry he feels that way. He should show up. He's got an obligation to his constituents to show up. And if you want to be a member of a committee, then get involved.
Here's the Committee on Children and Families. The ranking member, Senator Velma-Nett Montgomery of Brooklyn, didn't show up to a single meeting last year either. After asking her off camera for a comment, she still didn't want to talk to us about it on camera. We'd like to talk about your attendance.
I don't want to talk about it.
And if it's a real...
If that's all you want to talk to me about, I'm not interested in talking to you.
So is it a problem that you didn't attend any meetings?
We have voting sheets for all the members.
Senator David Carlucci of Rockland County chairs the Social Services Committee. 4 members didn't go to any of his meetings, but unlike Amador, he says it works the way it is.
To say that every member has to come to every meeting, I don't think is necessary in terms of a committee. But when there is something that they want to bring to the table or discuss and make sure it's there publicly disputed, then it's important that they show up.
Carlucci says some committees have bills that aren't controversial. He says most of the debating goes on behind closed doors with the bill's sponsor. In all fairness, senators say sometimes it is physically impossible to get to all their committee meetings because when session goes late, sometimes all their committee meetings are scheduled for the same time.
I'm on 9 different committees, and I try to attend every single one. But there's a lot of times conflicting schedules.
So, is there a better way to hold some of these committee meetings? Different scheduling, different rules? And if nothing changes, what's the point? Do you think if you did attend physically, you'd at least have a presence there and try to...
I've been here for 15 years, all right, so I know how things work. This is not a matter of, being there. The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result.
Well, lawmakers can make an extra $9,000 for being a ranking member. That's Senator Parker and Senator Montgomery, but we checked, and they both drew their extra pay from committees they actually attended. Reporting live, Asa Staples, News Channel 13.